The self-belief that you have can take you further than anything that you know, right? A couple years ago, I say 2 years ago, I would say midway through my coaching journey, when I was 3 months in, I'm making about $500 per month. I used to write on this whiteboard, right? I used to write on this whiteboard and I just wanted to make it was just 3K a month from my coaching business, right? 3K. And the thing was that 3K was so like for me, if I could make 3K from coaching, that would have changed a lot for me, right? Whether it was, freedom, this 3K, it wasn't a lot of money at the time, right? But for me, it was like everything, it was everything for me to have 3K a month from coaching, and I would make 1K from helping my parents out at work. And then, another maybe 2K from like my clothing brand that I had at the time. But the thing is, even with that 3K, it almost seemed unrealistic, right? Saying that now, it's like almost crazy because I make $50,000 in a month. And then, that 3K now, it's like I can make that, times like three in a single day, I've had 10K days before. So it's like, what I want to basically explain is self-belief, again, is everything. If you truly, truly believe in your capabilities, right? You may not know how to get there exactly, but if you truly believe down at the bottom of your heart that you can get to a certain point, I promise you that is half of the battle. The other half is just figuring out how to do it. But if you truly believe in yourself, there's no way you can fail. I say this all the time, and it sounds so corny because every guru out there says the same thing. Mindset is so big. Mindset this, mindset that. But you guys who are not in business yet, or you guys who don't really make that much money, truly don't understand. I never understood growing up, or trying to get into the entrepreneur space, why these entrepreneurs would talk about mindset so much. But now that I'm one of those entrepreneurs, I get it. I get why they always talked about mindset. I get why they always talked about, being disciplined, having this big future goals, all this stuff, vision board and all that. And it always sounded so corny to me. But now I see that it's so like you need to have that to succeed. You need to be able to see yourself in the future in those shoes. Like I used to write $3,000 a month on a whiteboard. Just that was like the end goal. I said, if I can make $3,000 a month, I'd be happy. All right. Then I made 3,000 eventually, right? 6 months into my coaching business, and I realized it wasn't enough, right? Yeah, sure, I hit my $10,000 a month 6 of my coaching business, but again, there's always levels to this game, right? I was just on the phone with one of my clients after my group call. My group calls last 3 hours long, usually. I have an hour of the lesson, an hour of Q&As, and the third hour we just build the community and ask each other questions, right? Honestly, just building, the connections out, building the community. But after, the call, or mid-call, I guess, I had one of my clients, text me, said, Josh, I don't have my phone. It's actually charging. It's about to die right now. So he said, Josh, do you mind if we hop on a call? There's some things I'm in a bit of a situation. I need someone to talk to, Me automatically seeing that text throws off some red flags, right? But again, I'm here for my guys. So no matter what, I'm going to hop on a call. All right, no one's going to text me that unless they're in a situation where they truly do need me. So I hopped on the call with my guy, FaceTimed them. Not a professional call, just a FaceTime, because again, I didn't assume we'd be talking about business, which obviously we didn't really talk about business, but but I realized once we got into the call, it was a situation about, taking a huge risk. I'll say it on the YouTube video here. Basically, this client was about to, again, he has all the safety right now. He lives on his own, right? He has a job that pays very, very decently well, but he wanted to leave it all and take this huge risk on going all in. Because right now, his time was so occupied with this other job that he had. So occupied, but he wants to go all in, And he wanted my genuine thoughts, so we talked about actual logistics, right? Because me personally, I've always taken all the risk. I've been the one to, risk it all, like leave every dime I have, for whatever goal I have for at the time, right? I've done it with e-com, trading, clothing brand. I've put every dollar I had into it, right? Back then I didn't understand the mindset of an entrepreneur, so it didn't really work out. But we were talking about the logistics, right? How much do you have saved up right now? How much, can you live off of what you have if you live sort of with your means? How much do you make from the other side hustle that you do right now a month? And we're breaking down actual logistics the entire time. But then to a certain point, we both came to the conclusion of it wasn't about logistics, right? It was about, do you truly believe in yourself and your capabilities? The conclusion was yes, right? Because we had to realize the situation that he's in right now wasn't a matter of fact of if he could survive. He could survive off the savings, right? Of how much he's made from everything, right? Like having that safety net was there. So now it's just a matter of how much do you believe in yourself? And the answer was pretty fucking clear, right? He believed in himself to the full capability. So right there when he said that, to me that sparked like, my younger version of myself, right? My honest advice was, fuck it, right? Leave the job, quit the job, go all in. Now this is for his case because his scenario is different, right? He had a little bit of a safety net and he truly did fully believe in himself. And I know this client, he's a very, very well-minded, he has a very strong mindset. And that's, again, one thing that matters a lot in this space is mindset. If you have a great mindset, it can take you a lot further than you think. So, again, me being, obviously, mentor that I am, I gave him my true, genuine thoughts. I said, leave the job and, go all in. Because I know with the potential that some of my guys have, right, they can go fucking far as shit. I know a lot of my clients can take this to a crazier level than even I can. Because some of these stories that I hear from my clients, like, yes, my life was hard, right? But it wasn't anything super crazy, right? I've been through a lot of the things that everyone else goes through, like heartbreaks, not wanting to work a 9 to 5. I was pretty much like a loser in like elementary school, middle school, growing up. I didn't have friends. In high school, I had friends, but I lost myself, all that. But the thing is, some of these other stories, obviously I can't even fathom, like I can't even say them on here, but some of these stories that I hear from some of my clients are just absolutely crazy. Like some of the things my clients have been through make me feel like my life was on easy mode, and it makes me feel like I'm not working hard enough. So I know my clients can take it way further than me, right? I see the potential in my clients, but again, obviously they're not in my shoes, so they can't execute it as fast as I would like them to, right? I try my best to transfer my brain into their brain, but again, I like to say this a lot, right? The deeper the struggle, the greater the glory, right? The more things you've been through, the harder struggles that you've been through in your life makes it so much easier for you to take it a step further. How many stories can you share on social media, right? How many people can you relate to? Because for me, there's a lot of things I can talk to you guys about. I've shared a lot of struggles that you guys go through, but these stories that you hear are crazy, and I know my clients have so much potential. Right? They start off as clients and then we talk and talk and talk and they open up and I open up, right? Because there's only so much I say on social media. There's things that I yet to feel comfortable to say on social media here. Right? I won't go into too much detail, but my clients open up to me and I open up to my clients on a private level, and it's absolutely right mind-blowing, and it makes me so grateful to be in the position I'm in now, right? I didn't truly realize how much I love this job, right? Until this year. This year I really realized. Again, when I was a fitness coach for over a year, I've heard some stories, which was great, but this is like on a whole nother level. Like the way that I'm connecting with my clients now is like, bro, like it's honestly just mind blowing. And the amount of like trust that I have built up with my clients now, and the amount that they're willing to share with me, that of some things they won't share on social media, but the things they're willing to share with me and how I share with them, the connection is there. Right? I see my younger self in so many of my clients. It is unbelievable, right? The clients who share all their stories with me and, talk about all the things they've been through and their ambitions and their goals and what they're doing. Like I see a spark of light up in a lot of my clients, right? Sometimes they come to me very excited and then, excitement might die off because they realize, it's a business and it takes a lot of work. But then when that spark reignites in a lot of my clients, that right there, I like see a younger self, like my younger self in them. And seeing my younger self in them, for me, makes me feel like I'm obligated, as I am obligated, but I'm obligated to give everything I know to them, right? Because if I was my younger self, if I met my younger self 2 years ago, oh my gosh, how crazy of an event that would be. If 2 years ago, I could meet my present self now, right? My life would have been changed. And I know I know that people need that. The reason why I do this whole coaching stuff and even just post on YouTube and share my stories, because I know there's someone out there. I know it might be you watching this video right now, you might need someone like me, right? And it might sound, you know, narcissistic or, egotistical, but I know someone out here needs to watch this, right? Self-belief is half of the battle. If you can believe in what you can do, right? If you believe in your future, you believe in your work ethic, if you can believe in your process, I promise you, you will get there. Because people who do not believe in themselves are losing already, right? They're already losing by not, seeing themselves in the, my shoes, or, in a bigger, in a bigger place, a year from now, whatever it may be. But self-belief is half the battle. Ever since day one, no matter what it is that I tried, I always had self-belief. Trading, self-belief. Clothing brand, self-belief. E-com, dropshipping, self-belief. That self-belief was always there. Even when it came to, getting what I wanted. Always, whether it was like a certain girl or, whatever it was, I always had the self-belief there, right? My parents wanted me to go to school for so long, right? I dropped out of college my freshman year. It was supposed to be a gap year. I ended up, just getting my job and, getting into a relationship and, just trying things out with entrepreneurship. And, at the time it didn't work out. And they were just really pushing me to go back to college. Josh, you need to go back to college. Obviously things are not working out as, as like you said they would. But, the last thing was my social media, right? I started my social media in 2000, I think it was the very end of like 2020, or no, like March 2021. So I've been doing social media about for like 2.5 years now. But, or I guess now it's coming up onto your, yeah, something like that. I can't do the math, man. I'm tired. It's 12 a.m. But right when I started my social media was when they had the first glimpse of hope. Because I went very viral very fast on TikTok. And when I went viral on TikTok, the first person to see the potential was my dad. Obviously, my mom, I wasn't in communication with at the time. We had a falling apart. My issues, obviously being a bad son at the time, and I don't blame my mother at all. She was just trying to be a good mom, and I just was a degenerate young guy who couldn't see that for what it was at the time. But obviously, we have rekindled our connection now. But my dad was the one who saw the first glimpse, and obviously he's an entrepreneur himself, so he told me to go all in, right? Every time I tried something, he would back me up, right? Go all in on it, go all in. But even though he would mention the fact that sometimes I should go to college, most of the time he would really push me to work harder, right? Go harder, go harder. You can, whatever you want to do, you do. He gave me the full trust, but the problem with that full trust was that I had too much freedom. At the time, I wasn't ready for that freedom. I wasn't ready to have all that responsibility just for myself. Because again, if you're an entrepreneur, you are your own boss. You are your own responsibility. No one else holds you accountable, right? So I had to learn, right? One, to see my future, and two, to hold myself accountable. But my dad would give me hope. But then there was a time where I started my coaching business and it wasn't going as planned. The first 6 months, again, I made a total of like 1.5K my first 6 months. And it was really rough until I hit my first $10,000 month. That was when he was like, oh, maybe you do got it, My mother at the time was obviously very proud of me. Obviously, we've rekindled our connection again. But my mother, when I hit my first $10,000 a month, was very proud of me. Because before that, I remember Thanksgiving dinner, and I was with the family and everything. And I would just say, trust me, guys, trust me. Like, I'm going to make this. I have friends that are doing it. So why can't I? Right? That was the thing. I saw other people doing it, especially people that were close to me. So why couldn't I do it? And as soon as I told them that, I remember it was Thanksgiving, I told them I can do it. I don't need to go to college. Just give me one more year. Just give me one more year. I promise this will be the last year that I asked that, you give me some leeway. So that for that, next couple of months after that, I went all in. I went so hard, so hard. And eventually in May, I hit my first $10,000 a month. Now, again, my mother was very proud of me. My father was also very proud. But again, $10,000 a month one time, isn't anything crazy. So obviously after that, I was in a different relationship. I got comfortable and I dipped back down a little bit in terms of how much I made. But the breakup, right? So October 2023 is when I had the breakup. But right there and then was also my biggest month. Or not my biggest, my next milestone. So I hit $30,000, right, profit in October, and it was amazing, right? My mother and father were both ecstatic. It was the first time my father told me that he was proud of me. My mother obviously was very, very ecstatic. She was very, very glad that this thing has worked out, right? This thing that I told them about a year ago, to just give me, like, trust me on this one thing, trust me. Like, I know I failed in the past, I've let you guys down, but trust me this one last time. For just 1 year, this is the last chance that I get, right? I showed it because again, the self-belief was always there. I knew I could do it. I just needed to really like have a real good reason to why I needed to do it. Right. And the breakup, as bad as it sounds, it did fuel me. It fueled me to make $30,000. And now, January hit my first $50,000 a month, right? Profit, right? That was, oh my, that was like another crazy story in itself. But again, at this point, they trust me now, right? My parents trust me to do what I do. They trust my, what I do. They just honestly, it feels so good that the pressure of going back to school is at least off, right? I don't need to go to college. I don't need to have them like talking in my ear, going back to college and all that, because again, in their eyes, I've made it. In my eyes, I haven't, but in their eyes, I've made it. I had one of my clients I was just on the phone with. He talked to me about, he said, Josh, I hope you realize you're in the 0.0000001% of what 22-year-olds are at, right? $50,000 a month. But I told him, honestly, $50,000 a month right now feels like nothing. Like, I know, like, obviously for a lot of people, it's a lot of money to make a month. I make more than a doctor now, but it's like, it's still something inside isn't truly fulfilled yet. I think, again, I always say this as well. The true passion or fulfillment comes from, I guess, us as men constantly getting better. That's where our true passion comes from. So I don't think I'll ever feel truly satisfied. I like to tell myself at $100,000 per month consistently, I'll feel pretty good and pretty like good to like chill for a bit and just like chill. Like I'm not stressed about scaling. But again, I already know like when I get to that point, I'm just gonna want to get to $150,000 to $200,000 per month of profit, right? So I do like to say, I know it's easy to say, I have it all, but I don't. I don't have it all, right? There's still gaps in my life, certain things that are missing, but I do definitely have the financial side down. That's one thing. But money doesn't solve, or money doesn't buy happiness. Money buys you freedom, and freedom is what gives you happiness. And that's why we all started in the first place, right? Just to have freedom. And again, now I have the freedom, right? I moved to Miami. I have my dream car, one of my dream cars. I like to say this all the time, but no, it's just like Rolex, but it's not like a big, I'm not saying this to flex. That's the point. I'm saying this to show you guys what truly is possible. I don't know how well you guys can see the background, but dude, I honestly have the life that I want, right? Yes, I can get more supercars. I can take more trips, which will fulfill me, obviously. But again, we're chasing the growth, right? We chase that's what fulfills us as men. Like, it's honestly comes down to constantly growing, which is why I know at every level I'm not going to be okay with staying there, right? I like to tell myself at $100,000 per month, just chill for a bit, right? Just maintain 100,000, just chill, because that's a nice number to have, right? Then I'm making over $1 million a year. Holy hell, saying it like that's like crazy. I can't even fathom like making $1 million per year. Like saying, yeah, I make $1 million a year. It's like it's almost kind of cool, but like, holy shit, now that I even say that right now, it's like, oh, it's really achievable. If I hit $100,000 every single month, starting in April, starting Q2, that's $1 million. So by the end of the year, I, Josh Chang, could have $1 million, right? And it's crazy to say, but holy hell, is it true? Like, it's so attainable. It is right there. Again, now it comes down to self-belief. Do I believe I can do that? Yes. Are we on track to do those months? Yes. Are we like, is my team on the same page? Yes. Are we making everything, one of my, actually here, one of my employees, one of my like gold mine employees, right? He's mentioned to me that we should do this thing called Kaizen. And I was just honestly just wondering, like, I was like, what is Kaizen? And he explained to me it's making small improvements every week. So in terms of the business, right, we want to make small improvements every week, because if we just focus on every little thing all the time, like, it's going to be very sporadic. You'll realize in business, you got to focus on your A plus problem. So every single week, we want to focus on our A plus problem, right? Kaizen, fix things slowly by surely, but week to week, right? So now the goal is to, again, fix this week, fix this week, fix this week. And every week, the team is on the same page of what we are dialing in. So in that way, we really will have a predictable way to scale. Now that we're going to start doing all these other things in terms of content and ads and, fulfillment and setting our sales funnel and all that, like, it's about to be crazy. And that's why it seems so realistic to hit $100,000, get profit next month and the following months after and scale past. Like obviously by the end of the year, if I was able to hit like a $200 or $300,000 a month profit, ecstatic. I'd be super excited. You know, that's like the price of a damn Lambo in a single month. You know, it's like some people's like doctors' yearly salary in a single month. And to be able to say for someone who's 22, who dropped out of college, who has been through, you know, breakups in his life, who have, you know, didn't have the best future set out for him and just never had anything lined up my way, but to say that I make a doctor's salary in a month would be crazy. And that's why I'm fueled by a lot of hatred. I can't lie. Like a lot of things in my life is fueled by hatred, and I want to get back and prove people wrong. That's one of my biggest driving factors, and it's something I need to work on. Just me personally, but I gotta be, you know, completely honest. A lot of my passion or a lot of my why is just just proving people wrong. You know, whether it's friends that left me in the past or people who made fun of me, exes, right? I want to prove everybody wrong, because if I wasn't bright enough to be in their life, or them not to see me, this is very egotistical now that I think about it, but them not to see me as like a keeper in their life, whether it was friends again or anyone, I want to show them that they missed out. Damn, that's so egotistical now that I say that. But it really is true. And if that's what fuels you, let it fuel you. But again, find a reason, like a better, true-hearted reason. Obviously, I want to help my parents out. Or everybody wants to retire their parents. That's the only reason I'm not saying that, because everybody's going to say that to you guys. But I'll be completely honest and tell you guys, the main reason why I do all this is to prove people wrong, right? To prove people wrong, and then to show people that are in my current situation or were in my past situation, to show them, hey, you can do it too. Because again, we all, even me, growing up and, you know, trying to get into all this, I had people I looked up to all the time, right? I wanted to be in someone else's shoes. But now that I'm here, I honestly forget that people want to be in my shoes, right? And I forget that, like, I have all these things that, like, to me, it's like, you know, my car, my watch, my clothes, my, you know, my bank account, like all these things, like, okay, this is just financial, but people want to be in my shoes. And I honestly forget that I'm living people's dreams, right? I legitimately am living in people's dreams. And I guess it's like, I didn't realize how I got here so fast. And it's like, my life has changed very fast. I move in spurts. Like me and my mentor and my friends like to say, I move in very spurts. Like I go a little like this, and I just boom, I just pop. And then boom, I just pop. And then boom, I just pop. Right? I don't just go in a straight line up. I go like up, down a little bit, up, down a little bit, up, down a little bit. Like I move in very big spurts. But again, when I'm in that mode where I'm just constantly just work, and all I can think about is like grind, and work and type on my computer, wake up. I don't eat my first meal till 9 p.m. sometimes. I'm just typing away, like up and on calls and stuff. I love it though. Like I can't lie. I love the grind. I love, you know, popping an energy drink, getting behind my desk and just putting on my ocean sounds on my headphones and just typing away. Because I genuinely love this game. All right, I'll get into another video, but obsession will beat everything, right? If you have obsession, you will beat out everyone else. But if the self-belief isn't there from the very beginning, you will never get here. But yeah, I just want to share my thoughts on that, just because again, as corny as it sounds, you know, mindset is a huge factor in this game. But just wanted to get my thoughts out. I always film these videos when I have something going on, or like when the emotion is right there and I can really feel me being passionate about something. So again, if you guys enjoyed this, if it helped you out, you know, if you relate to my story, if you're someone who is in my past shoes, if you're someone who knows they can do more, I promise you can probably do more, right? You can do more, you just don't know how to get there. But as long as you have the vision, you will slowly find your way there. Right? I always like to say, your future self is telling you to, you know, if you always see your future, damn, I fucked up. If you always see your future, right, whether it's in dreams or you're daydreaming, it's your future self trying to tell you, right? It's your future self trying to tell you, hey, I've made it to this point, but this is what my life looks like. You just need to follow the steps, right? Figure out a way to get here. Because if you just laid it out, you know, you would realize you don't want to do the work. But if you saw the end goal, you'd put in the work.